So asking for what you want is very important in goal setting, in discussions, in conversations, negotiations. Often we don't have it because we haven't defined clearly what it is that we want. I mean, as clear as I'm going to buy the bread, I'm going to buy the cheese. And not only the cheese, but you may say a type of quality of cheese. You might be as specific as possible. What type of bread? Whole meal, whole grain, whatever. Where is that shop? It's going to be Baker's Delight. That's a famous bread shop here in Melbourne. And so what I'm trying to explain is the specificity is very important. Now, sometimes we don't know what that is. And we end up speaking, hoping the other person sorts it out for us, which is not their responsibility. So what you could do is at home in your personal reflection is get as clear as possible, as if a 12-year-old should understand it or a 17-year-old should understand it. Very, very basic, clearly what it is that you want. Now, you could practice that. You can record that and listen back to it and say, does that sound confident? Does my voice sound confident? Do I say the words specifically to the point? No questions asked. I'm totally committed to what I'm saying. I've done my thinking. I know what I want, and this is what I want you help me achieve. Or I would ask you to write this down because this is what I'd like to achieve, right? Particularly when you're asking for performance reviews or specific questions around standards and values and definitions about things, because sometimes the conversation is so vague, and it's vague from both ends, from your end, from your boss's end, from relationships, personal relationships and professional relationships, the whole thing. It's so vague, so then nobody's actually committed to anything, and it cannot be measured, and it's so vague that at the end you can't even be held accountable for it. And you keep missing what it is that's going on because the language, the words, the language pattern is not specific enough. So for specificity, we need to be able to measure. So you may say something and you need to then to be able to measure it, create a standard around it. A metaphor or an analogy could actually point it out. An image can point it out. Something that really, really backs up what it is that you want to say. Okay, so analogies are great and metaphors are great, images are great to help people really truly understand what it is that you say if you struggle to find the word. And if English is a second language, try it in both languages. Try it first in your native language, because that's the language you can easily get your mind around, and then find the English version to it. So asking for what you want, so then it's not missed, it's not heard, and it's not diminished, because the person who's the clearest and the loudest will always be heard over the one who's vague.